Money doesn't grow on trees, but money does grow in other people's pockets. And those people that can be more relatable to other people are gonna make the most money, because the first thing that people buy is you. When you're dealing with customers, when you're dealing with people, knowing what makes them tick, knowing what makes them motivated, what excites them, what turns them off, that is a very, very big deal. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the DNG podcast, Driven Not Given. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about, especially to anybody that's in a leadership position or anybody that's in a sales position, and you have to deal with a lot of personality types. I guess this also goes for management positions, right? Understanding the different type of people that you're dealing with and how to handle them. What are some things that make them tick? What are some things that motivate them? What are things that turn them off, right? And so I think that's very, very important. This is a lesson in a training that I learned a long time ago. So I'm not going to go deep into this information, but I'm going to hit some subtle points about it. You're definitely going to get some value from this. So with that being said, there's 4 different personality types when it comes to people that you're dealing with, right? There are other trainings that they break them down into like 16 different types, right? But there's a more condensed training which breaks it down into 4, and that's what I'm going to break down. And I use the acronym FAST. Part of the reason why I use the acronym FAST is because this is a fast way for you to understand the motivations of these different types of people, right? So anyways, FAST. The F stands for facts. The first type of person that you run into is a person that's motivated by facts. This is the green personality. They're also known as a green personality. Now, the green personality, this is intelligent people, and they love the details. They love the facts and figures, okay? They like to do their research. These people also tend to suffer from paralysis by over-analysis, right? So they're just researching so much. They take a long time to make a decision, because this is the kind of person that says, let me go ahead and look at the reviews. Let me go ahead and do a little bit more research. And then they want to do some more research on top of that research. Then they've got 100 questions that are related to that particular subject, right? So this is the facts-driven person, the analytical person. They're extremely analytical. Now, one of the things about them is that they're also very pessimistic, right? So even if they cannot poke holes into something, they tend to be pessimistic as to whether or not it will apply. So every personality trait has some pros and cons, right? This is one of the cons, right? Another con is that they're not action takers. They take a long time to make a decision, right? So they're not action takers, okay? And another thing is that these people, they drive certain personalities crazy. One of the personalities that we're going to get into is the action personality. These people drive the action personality takers crazy, right? Because they don't take action, right? And it takes a lot of patience to deal with these people. So anyways, here's how you identify these people. One of the ways to identify them is that they're very quiet. They're very reserved. They have a limited fashion sense. So they're not going to be the flashiest people. They tend to dress pretty simple. And when you're in a sales environment, in a leadership environment, it is very important for you to know the basics of how you can identify this type of person, so you could know what are some of the things that drives this person, some of the things that motivates this person, and some of the turnoffs for this person as well, right? They usually drive electric cars or low budget cars. They're very techie people, right? And they're also very much like a wallflower. So if you guys have a social gathering, maybe a potluck or something like that, they'll very often be the people that they're more of a wallflower. They don't start a lot of conversations. They're not very outgoing. So when you look at a sales organization or any organization as a leader and you spot this kind of person, now you know the personality trait. Now, you could dig a lot more into this particular training. I'm just giving you some of the highlights, okay? Now we're going to go to the next person. The next person is a red personality. This is the one that I identify myself in. So I'm very familiar with this. I've known this for a long time. I know I have a lot of friends who are the red personality, which is the A. In the acronym FAST, this is the A. The A stands for action. It also stands for attitude, right? So this person, entrepreneur, driven to compete. You want to compete. You want to get this person motivated. You want to get them even more motivated. They tend to be a lot more self-motivated motivated, but you want to get them more motivated, guess what? Put a competition, right? Put them against other people when it comes to winning. They want to win bad. They're also very money motivated, right? They don't simply order a beer. They like to order a brand beer, all right? Or if it's a certain wine, they like to order a certain brand of wine, right? They're very specific about the things that they want, right? They don't just wear a watch. They consider it a timepiece, right? And so this is a very, very money motivated person, okay? They also like to look good, right? One of the things about this person is that they like to look good and they also care about brand names, right? From the car they drive to the watch they have to the clothes that they wear. They like to wear brand names. They have a big ego. That's one of the things about these people. They do have a big ego. And here's the deal. Ego can be good or it can be bad. And I can relate to this from personal experience because I'm 38 years old now. But when I was probably 30, 31, 32 years old, this that I'm talking about right here perfectly identified the way that I was then. As you get older, in my case, as I get older, I get more mature, I get more experience. I don't care as much about the brand stuff, but I do still care about making the big money, right? But personal growth and maturity, any one of these four different personalities, personal growth and maturity is going to change them to a certain degree. As they get older, they change, right? And so, but here's the thing. For example, one thing you'll see from people that are working on themselves is that as time goes on, they're going to change. So for example, I don't really care that much about the fancy clothes. It doesn't matter if I have an $800 watch or an $8,000 watch. I have both of them. What I care about now is how it feels and how it looks, but more than anything, how it feels. I don't really wear a lot of brand stuff. As you can see, I wear my own brand now because my thought is, why in the world am I going to advertise for free for anybody else? I'm going to advertise my own brand, right? So I advertise my Driven Not Given brand, right? But see, that's also an attribute of a red. Somebody that's not a red, more than likely are not going to want to create their own brand, right? So I'm kind of, making the point here. They do have a bigger ego than others, and they tend to have a chip on their shoulder. One of the things that you will see about a red is that a red tends to have a bigger chip on their shoulder than other people, right? They tend to build their business with a chip on their shoulder. So here's some of the ways that you could identify them, and I hit some of these here, okay? One of the ways you could identify them is designer labels, okay? They like to dress to impress. They're loud. They tend to be louder than other people, okay? They also like speed. And here's the deal, success loves speed. Red people are very driven by success, and they love the quote, success loves speed. So these people tend to want to be fast. They may not know where they're going, but they're going to get there fast, okay? They love their attention seeking. Okay, they're generally unorganized. I'm not the most organized person either, so I can attest to this. However, one of the things I've learned in business is to recruit your weakness. So I've got employees and my assistant that help me stay organized because I know that I'm not, and my thing is, again, I'm speaking from personal experience. I do not put a lot of effort into the organization because number one, I've got people that help me organize, but number two, I feel like, hey man, I'm more productive in sales, training, and recruiting. That's what I do, right? So anyways, tend to be unorganized. They tend to drive or want to drive expensive cars. One of the funny stories is that Ed Milet, I was watching one of his podcasts and he mentioned how before he was making the money, he was driving a Chrysler, like in the 90s, driving a Chrysler, and he put a Mercedes body kit on it. Now, if you know him, he is a red, but he's not nearly as red as he used to be if you follow that guy's story. I found that story so funny and relatable because that is a very true attribute of a red. They like expensive things. They tend to drive expensive cars or want to drive expensive cars if they can't afford them yet, but better believe, as soon as they do, they're going to buy it. One of the big mistakes that I made was when I was about 31 years old, I went and I bought a 2014 Corvette Stingray. And it was a 2014. I bought it in 2013. I paid $10,000 over sticker. I paid $88,000 cash for that car. That was a stupid mistake. Now, would I make that mistake now? Absolutely not. I lease my cars. It's a tax write-off. But see, that comes with experience. That comes with wisdom. So a lot of times a red, when they barely start making money, they do, because remember, they're very ego driven. They care about brands, right? They care about status, right? They tend to do a lot of these things very often. And you know what? I definitely can attest to that. They tend to be more flashy. So let's get into the next personality trait. The next personality trait is the S. The S. The S is the showtime, right? Also known as a personality, the fun personality, or the blue personality, right? So their color is blue. These are the fun loving people. These are the people that, hey, you talk about a party, you talk about an after party, you talk about a mixer, they're there. You talk about going to happy hour, they're there. They're happy, they're upbeat, they love to have fun, okay? They love incentives trips and they love parties. They love recognitions, they love to hug, okay? They tend to be more loud. They're very optimistic, much like Reds are very optimistic as well. Now, here's some of the attributes about them that are not very good. They tend to say things without thinking, okay? And very often they tend to say things without thinking while they are drinking, which, as you can imagine, makes things even worse, right? So the Blues love to have fun, very energetic. They network a lot. They tend to have bigger networks. They tend to have bigger social media followings. The Reds do as well. But here's what happens, okay? They drive greens crazy. They're like the opposite of a green. A lot of the things that a green values, a blue doesn't value. They tend to be late. Reds and blues tend to be late. They tend to be unorganized. Greens love to be organized. Greens like to be late, right? Reds and blues tend to be late, right? And so that's the thing about a blue personality. They're very fun. So you want to motivate them. Talk to them about an incentive, about how to do some team events, how to do some team things. Maybe you got a bowling night. Maybe you got a happy hour night, or whatever the case may be. Those are the things that get them to an event. So if I've got, for example, a training event, I'm going to tell the green about all the facts that they're going to learn so they can become an expert. I'm going to tell the red that they're going to get all of the information necessary for them to go to the top of the company, for them to be in the top 1%. I'm going to let the red know of some of the top income earners and some of the income that they're making, how they're going to be there training on a particular subject, right? I'm going to tell the blue about everything that they're going to learn, but about the crazy after party that we're going to have afterwards. And hey, by the way, it's in Las Vegas, man. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas? Guess what? The blue's like, sign me up. Then that takes us to the next person. The next person in the acronym FAST is a T. The T stands for tree hugger, or treat everybody with love. This is also, their color is a yellow. Now, the yellow, natural born peacemakers. They love animals. They respect the environment. A lot of them are environmentalists, right? And in many cases, these are songwriters. These are creative people, very creative people, but they're also people that, again, they love the planet. They love other people, right? A lot of my friends who are yogis, they're big time yellows. They're big time tree huggers, right? I'm in the solar business. My primary business is a solar business. I have a nationwide solar dealer, right? And I attract a lot of reds, but guess what I also attract? I attract a lot of yellows. A lot of yellows are our customers. I've had customers that say to me, hey, JC, listen, here's the deal. I don't care if I save money or not. If I could put solar panels on my house to reduce pollution and to make a better earth, I'll pay more money if I have to. Luckily, we save everybody money. So when they see that they're saving money and they're saving the planet, they're all about it. These are their motivations, right? So again, when it comes to that event, I'm telling the blue about all the fun. I'm telling the red about the top income earners and how they're going to benefit and get to the top 1%. I'm telling the green about all the facts that they're going to get. And I'm telling the yellow about all the people that they're going to help. I am hitting every single one of these points. See, when I was younger, I used to do business basically in black and white. It was like I was a red, and I definitely blew the yellows and the greens out, especially the greens. The greens asked all the facts. I said, hey, listen, man, go talk to this guy for the facts, man. And I would turn them off. As you become an entrepreneur, as you become a better salesperson, your customers, I get into trainings on this in detail. I do trainings at real estate offices where I show people on somebody's handshake, you can find out which personality trait they are. Right? So when you're dealing with customers, when you're dealing with people, knowing what makes them tick, knowing what makes them motivated, what excites them, what turns them off, that is a very, very big deal for dealing with these people, right? So anyways, how to identify the yellow to finish off. Yellows love to give hugs. You ever meet a person that says, hey, no, I don't shake hands, I do hugs. That's a sure sign that that's a yellow. By the way, let me go back a little bit. A sure sign of a blue is somebody with crazy colorful hair. That's a blue personality, man. Okay, so anyways, let me go back to yellows. They love to give hugs, very positive and happy. Okay, they drive family cars. They also drive electric cars for the environment, right? Very family orientated. They dress very comfortably. They're not they're not flashy at all, right? They're very talkative. They're helpful and very thoughtful. So if you got people that like to give things away, thoughtful gifts, that's probably a blue or a yellow. Definitely not a red. Definitely not a blue. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this information. Again, this is simply a couple of bullet points on these attributes. There's a lot of great trainings out on the internet on this in detail. This is one of the most powerful trainings that for me helped me level up my game, go to another level, to be able to relate, be more relatable with people. Because here's the deal. For those of you guys in sales, and a lot of you guys that listen to and watch my podcast are in sales, here's one thing you have to understand. Money doesn't grow on trees, but money does grow in other people's pockets. And those people that can be more relatable to other people are going to make the most money, because the first thing that people buy is you. So if you don't know how to relate to people, they're not going to want to buy whatever you're selling because they didn't buy you. But when you get good at speaking everybody's language, don't just speak your language, speak everybody's language. And you got to get good at this until it becomes an unconscious competence thing and you know how to identify the people that you're working with. So with that said, let's go ahead and level up. And by the way, here's an announcement. Lloyd Ferguson, you won a shirt because you've been showing a lot of love on the podcast and you've been, commenting, sharing. I appreciate all the support. You just won an entrepreneur shirt. Okay. We got another entrepreneur shirt and another attitude shirt that we're going to be releasing. We've already got a couple winners from the comments on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys at the top or from the top. This is JC Rangel. See you on the next episode.